In New York City, if you're injured on the job, workers' compensation covers your medical benefits and your lost wages. You can't sue your employer, but your medical benefits and your wages are covered by workers' compensation in most instances. However, oftentimes, injuries that happen on the job are much bigger in their implications and their lasting effect than just wages and medical bills. You may suffer an injury on the job that has permanent effects. You may find that the injury from the job is disabling. However, injuries that happen on the job oftentimes are much bigger in their implications and their scope than just wages and medical bills. Oftentimes these injuries are disabling, and they may be permanent or lifelong. They may require intensive medical care that can last for a long period. In such a situation, workers' compensation doesn't necessarily cover all of the scope and implications of the injury. If you're injured on the job, it's workers' comp that covers your medical bills and your lost wages. However, if that injury on the job was caused by some third party, meaning a person or a company not your employer, and this happens often, frequently, then you may have a legal claim against that third party on top of the workers' compensation. A simple example is a truck driver, like a UPS driver or a FedEx driver, who's operating his vehicle, stopped at a light, and is rear-ended, struck in the rear. He's going to get workers' compensation because he was hit, he was struck while he was on the job. It's the job, the workers' comp, that's going to cover his medical bills and his lost wages. But in addition to that, he has a legal claim against the car that struck him in the rear. In that example, it may be necessary for the truck driver, in addition to the workers' compensation benefits, to bring a legal claim against the car that rear-ended him. Because oftentimes, injuries that occur on the job are much bigger than just lost wages and medical bills. People working in dangerous occupations or physical jobs are most likely to get hurt on the job. Oftentimes, those injuries that occur on the job can be debilitating, disabling. They can have lifelong effects. It's important, if you're injured on the job, particularly if you suffer a serious injury on the job, to know your rights right from the outset. Because workers' comp is available through your employer to pay your medical bills and your lost wages, but you may have additional legal remedies above that, particularly if a third party, someone other than your employer, caused the injury. In our practice, very frequently, we have cases involving motor vehicle collisions where our clients are driving at the time their accident occurs, when they get hurt, and we have both a workers' compensation case with respect to the wages, the lost wages for the time out of work, and the medical bills incurred for the treatment, but also a third-party action against the person or the corporation that caused the injury. And in the example of a car accident, it's the other vehicle, separate and apart from the company vehicle that they're operating at the time they get hurt. Recently, we represented a librarian who was injured in an elevator accident in a library while she was working. We brought suit against the elevator maintenance company for their failure to maintain the elevator in a proper manner. That's an example of a situation where our client was injured on the job, where there was a workers' compensation component to the case, namely the workers' compensation paid for her medical bills and her lost wages, but she also had a lawsuit against the elevator maintenance company for their failure to maintain the elevator.